Okay, so now it's the next day. What, June 27th or something like that? 2022. Right, it's Monday. I have to go to court today and file these papers. I'm sitting here. I'm going to go have a bath here pretty soon. And I'm thinking. What am I thinking about? Well, I'm thinking, considering all things said, like I said with my last video, I think in light of everything and who I am and what I've been up against and, you know, my skill sets and all this other stuff, I think I've been towing that line pretty good. When I was talking on the phone with Rhea, the young woman who's been helping me with the affidavits and stuff like that, right? You know, we touched base on the phone yesterday, and I asked her what she thought in terms of where we're at. I mean, obviously she couldn't give me a definite answer, right? Oh, that light is so bright, people. Hold on a minute. Oh, boy. Obviously she couldn't give me a straight answer because she doesn't know what the judge will do, right? I mean, it's apparent they're trying to throw it out. She thinks that they're going to continue trying to do that through the whole process. In other words, she said, I kind of want to cry today, but I can't. She said, that even if the judge doesn't throw it out this time, when we go to court in July, MS Team, assuming that my computer's even working correctly, my speaker went out on me yesterday. Oh, I was so afraid it wouldn't come back on because there's a short back there. I have to take this machine in and take it to the computer guy and have him service it for me. So I don't even know what's going to happen because it's not like I can do that anytime soon. Anyway, she was saying that because I have 2 hours and the prosecutor has 2 hours. Well, it's not even really a prosecutor. This is not a criminal case. It needs to be. There needs to be a criminal investigation. This is what I told her, right? That's what I'm pushing for, people, is an investigation. She said, well, why would the government want to do that? You know, they don't want to spend no money. I said, well, gee, Uncle John forfeited his superannuation, right? He saved the government lots and lots of money. So I don't see why they can't dip into that and build in something, people, where there's an independent, a completely independent investigation board into the nefarious activities within our public union sector to monitor for things like this. Same thing with the banking sector. This is what I told her. I said, I specifically showed you how they kicked out my bank card because they didn't remove me legally from enduring or power of attorney. 2 powers of attorney, right? They didn't do it legally. A year goes by, right? They had to do something. So they used one teller, 3 different cards, or 3 different transactions, 3 different times I had to get a card to kick out my card that was connected to John's account so that I couldn't get those bank statements anymore. And therefore, it somehow removed me with having enduring and power of attorney. But it didn't, though. You see, that's the thing, people. It didn't. And then a year later, after that was all said and done, because don't forget, it wasn't like the bank was being helpful. They refused giving me a photocopy of the enduring power of attorney for a year, basically. And then I finally got it. And even then, it's not like I can go get a lawyer And this is why they do it, because they know you can't afford one and you won't get one through pro bono. So, you're kind of like running around like a chicken without your head on. And they know it. And that's why they do it. Anyway, a year goes by. My card kicks out. For my banking kicks out. So I had to go to the bank and go get a new card. Do the paperwork. I said, okay, where's your, you're supposed to sign it. I want a photocopy of what we're doing. And they hand it back to me. And there's no signature on it. And I said, well, no, you need to, oh, no. I called the supervisor. I asked the supervisor to sign it. They refused to sign it, people. They refused to sign it because that's how the paper trail is established in terms of if something happens like what happened to us and you have that paper trail, you have the signatures to match it up so that you can see the crime because it's in black and white. So the bank, now knowing what it did, knowing how it got caught, has now put it into their internal files that bank tellers and the supervisors and all this thing, these kind of people that work in a bank, they don't have to sign nothing now because they don't want that paper trail. This is what I mean that the government needs to bring in checks and balances with, independent investigation or monitoring or whatever you want to call those teams to make sure that people are following the rules. Otherwise, this is what they do, people. Now, is the government going to do that? Rhea seems to think no. They don't want to spend any more money than they have to. Why would they start investigating those kind of things? Or looking for those kind of things? Like, they need to have individuals go into these care facilities, even the hospitals, and speak independently to the patients to see where the patients are at with their care on a personal level. Because you're not getting it from the workers, because it's the workers that are tweaking the files and manipulating them and falsely adding in information that isn't true. Anyway, so I'm really down for the justice part of this, people. I think that's what I'm trying to say. There needs to be justice, and the only way we're going to get justice, it's not through quote-unquote money, right? Like, if they came and said, okay, we can see clearly, like, for example, how are they going to throw all this out, people? Okay, and this isn't including the videos or the sound recordings. Okay? This is paperwork that some of it goes back to 1989, 1990, 2002, 1995, 1998, 2003, and so on and so on and so on. How are they going to throw this all out? This is all individual information. This isn't photocopies upon photocopies of the same information. It's new information per page that goes far, far back. Like, I said, what, you think they're going to bring in their case law to do it? If they can't do it, right? Because the government can't. She said, well, they have to come in with their evidence in terms of, like, CIBC Bank, for example. And I said, well, they don't have any evidence, though. They can't. They'd have to investigate before they could come in with evidence, right? So I kind of got them by the balls a little bit, because they can't They can't call what happened with CIBC Bank frivolous, for example, because I can prove that it wasn't. And if they question my information, which are in essence legitimate documents, and they're not satisfied with what I'm providing them, then they know they need to go and dig deeper into files that I can't get. This is what I told Rhea. And then if they get to that point and they start doing that, well, that's a good sign, people, because then it shows that they're starting that investigation process. And through that investigation process, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to build in better safety nets and create that team that will monitor their employees to make sure that the employees are following the rules, the mandates, the regulation, the legislation, and all this other crap, right? You know, and be more involved with the actual people that are being affected by this in terms of like the Uncle Johns and the Auntie Jones, and right? To prevent what happened to somebody else when it comes to the elderly and the medical kidnapping of their persons to seize assets illegally. Okay? It's one thing going through the public guardian and trustee or having a bank take you to court to remove you as a power of attorney. It's another thing when they use bank tellers to kick out bank cards, right? So that they just hope that you go away, basically. When in fact it was straight up bank fraud, okay? But CIBC Bank couldn't have done what they did unless Fraser Health Authority helped them. So they have to go a little deeper and get into the halls of these care facilities, wherever they are, and really pay attention to what their workers are doing. And that's what those videos and sound recordings show. So I'm towing that line, people, okay? I really am towing that line. Because I said to her, well, if they try and, you know, brush it off and offer me money because they realize they messed up with Uncle John and they just want to get rid of the problem real fast, solve the problem, right? You know, and offer me, well, you take this and drop everything else and, you know, and so be it. And I'm like, you know, I can't do that, Rhea, because there's, you know, they're not addressing what happened to SHAMAY. They're not addressing what happened to Amari, Andre, Sierra, just the family in general. Like, it has to go a little further than just quote unquote Uncle John. However, if this didn't happen to Uncle John, none of this would be happening. And I do believe my girls, my daughters, would be alive today. I do believe Uncle John would be alive today. I do believe that, people, because you see, Uncle John was rich in family. He had the support system that he needed, okay? With or without money, it didn't matter. He was part of the family. We loved him and he loved us, okay? And this is where Amari is really falling through the cracks, and more reason for me to toe that line, because Amari doesn't have the family that Uncle John had, because Amari's family is half gone already, okay? And not only that, but we're completely bankrupt, okay? Bankrupt in freaking spirit, because half of us are gone, you know, and bankrupt just in general because of what goes on in society. Okay. So I don't know how the government could possibly, that's a lot of paperwork, people. I don't know how the government could possibly throw this out of court. I just don't. I'd like to think that they're not going to. That they're going to take it one step further. And they're going to start digging into those files. Wherever files they want to put their fingers into, they can get them. Because they should want to know the truth. Right? To write the legislation to build in a better safety net for families, rich or poor. Okay? Rich or poor. Obviously, poor families are more at risk, but that's not to say that rich families don't face the same problem. I'm hearing a bird or something out in the back squawking. Cats are bad. Sometimes they catch birds. So, trying to stay positive. I'm going to toe that line. Amari deserves security. Right? A secure future. Right? So he's in front as the torch for me right now, more than anything. He's lost his mother. He's lost his aunt, his great grandpa. He's lost a lot. I suppose you could say he's lost his dad. Right? He's lost a lot, people. And his future is very, and that's not fair to him. If the government workers would have done the right thing the first time, the story would have been completely different. Completely different. So, that's not what I really wanted. Well, I wanted to say all that, but there was something else that's nagging at me. I don't know what I just really worry for Amari's future. It's not like he can get up and run away from people who hurt him, people. That's the thing. He needs a safe, long-term, secure environment where he's protected and loved and nurtured. Everything that Uncle John had. Seriously. Uncle John had a large family. All of us in the house. Right? He'd still be alive today, people. If they wouldn't have done what they did. I'm pretty sure of it. SHAMAY would be alive. Sierra more than likely would be alive. Things would have been totally different. So, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go have a bath here pretty soon. Put this stuff in the envelope. Get it ready for the mail. Go jump on the SkyTrain. I'm taking the SkyTrain today. Go to the courthouse. Submit it. And then go put everything in the mail. And since I'm in Westminster, I'll pop into that little leather store. And maybe I'll look for some leather for moccasins. Just see what, because it's a leather store. They have all kinds of leather in there. And look at the different kind of leather that's specifically best for moccasins. And I might pick myself up a little bit. And then when I come home, I've got 3 weeks to go over those books that I wrote. Take notes. I'm looking for something in Pacific. where it specifically states that either the government, I can't remember what minister can do it, but there's a minister within the government that can call in an investigation and overtake it. Can he or she can take over the whole court case and call it an investigation, or there's the option of having the judge to do it. If we can get to that point, people, then we're doing a really, 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 really good job. That's what I want to see happen. And it's funny because it's right there in that book written in that I did in 2017. So we're on the straight and narrow path that we've basically always been on. Right? So that's good. So I figure if I bring it up on this conference with them, I'm just jogging their memories that they have the power to do it. Because they might forget that they have that power. So if I remind them that they have that power, they'll be like, oh yeah, right. She has a point. Maybe it's time to, get down and dirty with it. Do I want to look at each and every freaking piece of paper when it comes to something like that? No, not necessarily, people. I'm more interested in the justice part of it all. Okay? I'm not looking for more dirt, although I know there's a lot of dirt in there. It's not my job to clean up that dirt. Okay? That's the government's job. My job is to make the government go look for the dirt. Not in a reluctant kind of way, but in a, I don't want them to do it with disdain. I want them to do it because they want to do it. Because if they want to do it, they'll do a better job. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. And then once they find whatever it is that they're looking for, or they find, and maybe aren't happy that they find it, then they can write in some legislation to make things better. Where they see a wrong, they can make a right. That's what I'm really, really hoping for. That's what I'm fighting for, people. Yeah. Okay, so that's the line I'm towing today. So I'll see you on the SkyTrain. Okay, I'm back. Look, I got a little bit of ooh la la on. Do you see? I thought we'd do a little ooh la la today. Right? Only thing is, I can't see people. The only reason I got the end of this earring into the hole is because when you get to my stage, because you've done things for so many times, for years and years, or whatever, you just go on the motion. So I'm like, there's the hole, and jiggled it in, and those are nice. I don't know if you can see them. All right. And then, because we're in blue, I thought I'd bring my little owl with me. All right. I wanted to wear one of my mother's rings, but I'm going to wear this one instead. So we've got the owl for protection, in terms of the all-seeing eye with wisdom. Owls are protective, right? And we got a ring that could be my mother's, but it's not. It's mine. I just like it for today. And then we've got the earrings that are blue, because basically what I'm doing is I'm wearing a long dress that goes to my, almost to my ankles, because it's hot outside. But I can't dig around through my clothes because I can't see. That's the first thing. And I'm not being too picky or choosy right now. But I thought I'd throw this over top. This is nice. Now I don't know if it's going to be too hot, but I could always roll up the sleeves, and if I had to, I could just take that off. Walk around with the dress on if it, like once I get outside, because I'm walking, right? I'm not taking a Uber or a taxi today. I'm on foot. I gotta watch the earrings. I don't know. I don't even know if this is gonna work. Brown is for neutral. Right? I don't know. This would go over my neck. Right? Now, I like this ring on this finger, but when I tried to get it off, oh boy, I got scared. Almost didn't get it off. So I either put it on this finger, which it doesn't slip off, but I can get it off. This one here, I don't know. This one seems like it might slip off, but so what do you think? Where am I? And I got a little bit of lipstick. So when I'm ready to go, I'll just put a little teeny bit on. That'll be it. That's my ooh la la. Okay, I just seen the strangest thing. I'm outside there on my porch for a minute, right? And I hear this squawk, 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 squawk. All these birds squawking. Okay? I can't really tell what they are. They don't really sound like crows. But anyway, it looked like there was... Well, they were in my neighbors on their grass. And it looked like the birds were like fighting over, I would say, a smaller bird that was flapping around. And I don't know if they were attacking the bird or what. I couldn't, like, I can only see so much, right? So anyway, they wouldn't stop. Clearly something was flapping. And, like, you know, my mother instinct went into, like, oh my God, they're attacking a little baby bird or something, right? That's what I was thinking, right? So I went to go see, and as I was coming, got closer, the birds, they noticed me, right? So the ones, there was like 2 or 3 that were like fighting over this baby or little bird. It was flapping, so I'm assuming it was a little bird, maybe a baby, right? And the closer I got, the one that was, you know, using its beak to maybe get it away from the other birds, picked it up with its beak and flew off. And then it flew off to the top of the roof across the street. And I'm like, holy crumb. So maybe that was the parent trying to protect the baby bird from the other birds. Strange. Right? That was strange, people. Okay? I didn't know birds do that. I know that they'll swarm and chase after you and try and, especially crows. Crows are really bad. If their babies are running around on the ground and they want to protect their babies, the crows will come right after you. Right? But I didn't know this. I don't think these were crows. Some kind of a sparling or something. Right? But the bird itself, whatever was flapping, was really small. So, just wanted to mention that. Okay, members and friends, like the good old days. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la. Okay, people, so do you know where I am now? I'm in an Uber. Tisha loves those Ubers. She said, no, Mom. You're going in an Uber. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, you're probably right. I'm kind of tired. We just want to get on with it, right, people? So, towing that line. See? Towing that line. Okay, so now we're here. Doesn't this look familiar? Wish I could see better. Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm on the SkyTrain. So anyway, I forgot to put on lipstick. But everybody's been complimenting me, people. A lot of people like this owl. Right, where is it? A lot of people like that. Serious. Okay, so now I'm back home. Back home to being a nursemaid. Or a dish maid. That's a big one. Okay? So anyway, I got a lot of compliments on this today. Where am I? Here we go. Can you see? That's not even going the right way. There we go. And I got a compliment on my ring today, too. Yeah. One fella at the courthouse was saying his mother would love to have this. And then he was going on how there was an employee that worked there, but she wasn't there that day, like today, right? She wasn't there today, right? And she would have loved this. Then he called me spiritual. I said, okay. Right? And then the lady at the post office, when I put the envelopes in the mail, and I put stamps, real stamps. I forgot to record it, but it's okay. I did it. Right? So, real stamps. You know, I told the lady at the post office, I said, anytime we can encourage stamp collecting, bring it back to the good old days, you know, that's, why not, right? They don't have the, this is kind of bogus. But it's the sign of the times, I suppose. I've been collecting stamps since I've been like 8 years old. Okay? Seriously. I don't have them all sorted out, but let's just put it this way. I got a lot of stamps. So, over the years, every now and then, off and on, I'd buy a sheet of stamps. Right? I don't have a lot, but, you know, I've got a few to look at, right? And, like, they were brand new, right? And I just flip the pages. And, or I'll buy, like, a corner, like 4. A sheet of 4. Maybe not the whole sheet, but I'll do, like, 4 stamps out of a whole sheet, right? Or I'll buy the whole sheet, depending on how much they were. And we're talking, like, throughout the years, right? And I don't really have that many. But, anyway, I haven't bought stamps for a while now. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I bought stamps to add to my stamp collection. But I did today. And what I noticed when I was putting the stamps on the envelopes right, to the Attorney General and whatnot, right, I had to use Scotch tape. She gave me this, thick kind, but I cut it real thin. Because these things, you don't lick them. They took away the paste. They said, oh, you can't wet it, and, you either lick them or you use those wet rollers. She said they don't make them like that anymore because of COVID. I said, you gotta be kidding me. She said, no. Anyway. This comes in a sheet, but she didn't have the whole sheet. But you can see. It's almost like, oh boy, where am I? Here we go. It's almost like, a stamp isn't a stamp unless there's something sticky behind it, right? This just feels like paper. I don't know. Anyway, I asked her for the different ones. I don't know. I'd have to really look at them. Anyway, I don't know. Walruses and I guess deers. Anyway, they'll go as a what is that? When you bury something in the ground for 50 years and then you dig it up to look at it to see what things were like 50 years ago. I can't remember. Time capsule. Right? It's just part of the time capsule. Right? It's nice to know that they still sell stamps. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so now that I'm home, it went pretty smooth. Except I struggle with my eyes. That's the problem. But I'm still managing. And the only thing I have to do now is get those PDF flash drives, like the flash drive with the PDF recordings and that type of thing, submitted to the courthouse, which I'll attempt to have done by the end of the week. Right? And if not then I'll do it next week. We'll just see how it goes, right? Because I need a credit card for it, and I'm maxed out, let's just put it that way. So I'm waiting for a payment to go through so I can use it again. Right? And then I'll just deal with that and see it as a challenge, because then I can apparently access court records and stuff, so I could probably Google my own court case and look up the judges, whatever they wrote, and get a copy of that, because as it is, I don't have a copy of anything. So that's what I'll end up doing probably at some point in the future. And then I'm going to read for 3 weeks. I'm trying to gear myself up for it. I'll read as much as I can. It's like a form of discipline, right? You just have to turn everything off, shut just whatever, and sit down and read. Right? Take notes as you go. And before you know it, you'll be done. So I got 3 weeks to read. Got to get up into the garage and start moving things around. Clearing that out. Using up that wood, now that it's warmer out, but it's too hot to be. But I'll get everything ready. And then as I'm doing that, obviously a little bit in the basement still, right? And I still have plants I have to put in the ground, which I'll more than likely do tomorrow. I couldn't do it because of this court stuff, right? Because I was on the computer for like 4 days working on those, doing paperwork anyway. But it's done now. And I found some organic potatoes in the grocery store, so I bought them. So I'm going to plant some potatoes, and I'm going to try and experiment with the hydroponics that doesn't require energy in terms of a pump running water, irrigating water. All right, so you'll probably see me do a couple of videos around that, assuming that I can do that, because it's effort, right? You have to move and bend, and it's not like I can see and cut wood and stuff, but maybe I can, because I have to build things. I have to get into that greenhouse and gut it. And what I'm going to do is wait till you see it. It still has the tomato plants that we were in there from last year, people. But I want to take everything out. I do. Give it a good spray. Just whatever, just right. And see what I want in there and what I don't want, or try and make, I don't know, do something anyway. I don't want to reuse, per se, the buckets that I've been using when I grow my tomato plants. It would be, and that, it can get really hot in there too. Anyway, I want to just kind of redesign it a little bit. All right. Try and incorporate maybe a little bit of hydroponics in there, that because you don't have to have electricity with it, right? And some outside. We'll experiment with potatoes. Right? Get Andre to do it in terms of, this is what we need, here's the materials, you build it, Andre. It's pretty rudimentary, right? And then we'll have that style, that style, that style, and that style. And Andre can figure out which is the best style. And then maybe next year he'll just know how to do it. Obviously, I went to the grocery store right after court. And for me, it's like culture shock. Because I don't get out, people. I got compliments today that even when people were complimenting me, I was putting myself down. Well, I'm just a nursemaid, I don't get to dress up very often, if any. And, I just, right, making apologies. Now I'm 60 years old, I got this nice stuff, and I never get a chance to wear it, Oh, because I'm a nursemaid, or no, I don't call myself a nursemaid, I call myself a dish maid. Right? So, but people really like this. They really, really did. Right? But you see, I'm home now, so the dress that I have on, I have to go change, because I can't do anything with a dress on in this place. And then it comes back to being a dish maid, to which I have to do dishes. But I don't think I'm going to do them today, because I'm too tired. I've been running around since God knows what time this morning. But yeah, I go to the grocery store, and it's like culture shock for me, because I don't get out very often. And what I noticed right off the hop pretty much is, sure, we hear about things going up in price, but it's not. It's more than things. It's almost everything, right? From product to product to product to product. If you're shopping and, it's 50-50, then maybe, it could be a little more absorbed in terms of value for your money. But when it's almost everything, from the last time you went out into a public environment and went and bought groceries, the price has gone up. Like Tang. I used to buy it at $2 a box. Now it's $2.99 in the store. but I normally order that online in a big box. But that's probably gone up in price too now. So anyway, all I could think was, I'm so glad that I did food prep when I did. You don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, potatoes are easy to grow. I've been looking for organic potatoes in the grocery store for months. Tisha running around looking for them, right? Anyway, I planted what I did have in the house, and I'm going to try and just do a little hydroponic thing. Cracky, I think that's his style, right? Out in the back. I'm just trying to figure out what materials I can use. We'll test them out just for fun. Because, you know, the cost of potatoes is expensive too. Yeah. Yeah. Unless, of course, you can get out to the farms or something, but I can't do that. You know, I'm stuck. So, we'll see what happens. So, yeah, I'm home. Everything went good. And I've got 3 weeks to refresh my memory in terms of the core subjects at hand when it relates to Uncle John. Right? I'm not going to let him get off. No. They'll try and play it off like it's just an enduring power of attorney issue. I'll be like, no. We got another 5 more pages to go, and that's what I brought it down from my original notice of civil claim. And that's when we get into the real nitty-gritty stuff. Yeah. I wonder if it will get that far. Okay, bye-bye, people.